And we are live right now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. If you're watching this on replay, there's a really good chance that you are, because I'm currently doing this at like 7 a.m. in the morning because there's a noon slate. There's a six-figure prize pool for the LEC, the European League of Legends. They're back. The LCS, the American slate, is back tonight. The LPL returned like a week ago. They've been playing every single day. They're back, and there's a six-figure prize pool to first. So we're going to be breaking it down because I'm playing it. I already have it projected. These are some of the top lane stats that you can see over my screen right now. Dating back, going to be using more of a historical view. I see some people hopping into the chat. What's going on, Andre? So I'll be doing a little bit of a breakdown of this. I have everything already posted on Patreon outside of the stack rankings, which will be up before the slate starts at noon. So right now, I have position by position projections. I have all the player stats up there, all the CSGO stuff for people playing that, and then outside of esports, all the other stuff usually there. So what's going on, everybody? Please do be sure to hit the like button, smash the subscribe button if you like fantasy sports content and you like just DFS, esports even. I cover all that stuff right here, right now. And I want to break it down since there's a six-figure to first prize pool for the LEC. We'll go kind of slate by slate, position by position here, and then I'll give my overall thoughts on some of the stacks. Early bird gets the worm, says Dwayne. Yes, sir. Been up since 4 a.m. Usually do get up around 4. Go to bed at 10, get up at 4, and do some of the stuff. So, yeah, right now with the slate that you're seeing right now, the top lane, I'm going to be focusing. There's a lot to focus on. There's going to be some huge Vegas odds. The Vegas odds are shifting. They're coming off the board. I like G2. I think that you're going to see, in general, Origin is going to have some massive Vegas odds, at least where they open. But I think at the end of the day, G2 is just a team that has a ton of upside when they do win. The cover boy of this video, I believe, is Perks from G2, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I like G2 today in general. But we'll talk about that. Again, if you do want to sign up, I will call out that Patreon is down below with my projections for all the League of Legends slates, my stack ranking, CSGO stuff if you're interested in that. But then you get access to also MMA, the PGA, all the other stuff that's going on right now in the world of sports and esports. So you can find all that down below, as well as Monkey Knife Fight, the sponsor of this video. I'm actually wearing their shirt today. They're up above. If you want just $5 to play, you don't even have to deposit anything. $5 to play. Use the promo code Vetri or the link in the description below. That is VETRI. But starting it off with the top lane position here. So when I look at top lane, it's going to be Wonder for me from G2 as my highest projected player, also the most expensive player. So shocker there. But if you're looking for just some value, I think that B Whipple offers a lot of value for Fnatic. They're favored to win at -280. B Whipple is somebody that on this slate, if you're looking at just what happened in the spring slate, or in the spring overall draw, averaged the most kills per game at 3.3 per contest. Damage percentage was pretty much up there as the highest, tied for the highest at 24%. I do think that Dan from Misfit Gaming on the opposite side would be interested if there was an upset, right? Now, I don't think Misfits as a plus 185 underdog is really in line for any sort of an upset here, so I'm probably not going to end up playing Dan all that much, but Dan is very, very interesting if indeed Misfit Gaming does come with the upset over Fnatic, the opposite side of that, which would be B Whipple on that side. So right now, the spots that I'm finding a lot of value is B Whipple 1. Wonder, although it doesn't seem like value since it's the most expensive top lane, I do find value there in terms of the price point, being one of my favorite plays from the top lane position, highest projected player, but also right now coming in as my second best value play at the top lane. And then if I go down a little bit, I think that's some interesting plays, not as much upside, but it's going to be players like Cries, it's going to be players like Orom that you're going to get just slight underdogs in this regard, right? Or even for Orom as a pretty decent sized underdog. These are players, if they do pick up the victory, that I have actually outscoring a lot of other players that would actually have points if they won. So the way that you look at it for League of Legends is you want teams that win, you want to stack teams that win, but if teams that aren't expecting to win, they're really never going to be projected out that great because they're projected to lose. But what happens if they do win? What is their ceilings? Players like Dan, players like Oram have higher ceilings in my opinion, especially Dan if they were to pull off the upset their team in general, which means that they're even more likely to be in the winning lineup. So I look at this as Wonder and B Whipple if you're just looking for some favorites. If you're looking for some less likely but upside players in terms of getting contrarian, and this is where stacks will start to come in with Mad, with Smithsfit. Dan and Oram look pretty good there. Just Wonder, and from the spring split, just touching on his overall numbers, by far the best assist player on the slate at the top lane position. 8.5 assists per contest is 2 more than anybody else. You have just decent everything. Kills were pretty good at 2.94. That was the third highest, so that's where I'm going at the top lane position. And feel free to enter into the chat if you have any questions. I know a lot of people might not be playing League of Legends still, but with the six-figure prize pool, I'm going to be covering it. And then we'll get back to our usual with the golf starting back up today. I'm excited for that. The second round, Lanto last night, or yesterday, just laid the absolute biggest egg of them all after pretty much every other player that I had was balling, but I think I had him at like 13%, so we're nowhere near dead in the water. We have a lot of really good lineups. And thankfully, I didn't play him in my higher stakes lineups. But Mid lane position, if I look at my mid lane position, it's Caps from G2. Like, G2 is going to be my highest on stack. It's just miles better than anybody else. I have Caps projected for about 7 more fantasy points than any other mid lane. It's pretty much as simple as that. In the spring split, led all of these players on this slate specifically in assists by a margin. Only player to hit 10 assists, only player to hit 9 assists, only player to hit 7 or 8 assists per contest out of all these players on this slate from the spring split. So 4 more assists per contest than anybody else in the slate. Leads the slate in overall kills per contest from the spring split. So Caps is going to be somebody that I'm going to have a lot of based on just my projection. Somebody who grades out for nice value would be Humanoid. I think Humanoid in victories is probably like a top 3 player, maybe on the entire slate, but definitely at the mid lane position. So if you were to think that this does end up in an upset, if G2 does lose, Humanoid would probably be the best mid lane option on the slate because, well, then Caps obviously isn't because Caps is losing and Humanoid has massive upside. So if you were to play the angle to go against all the heavy ownership that's likely to come in on the G2 players in the G2 stack, although I think you can differentiate a little bit within your stacks to get that G2 stack to be somewhat more unique, then yeah, Humanoid on the opposite side. Looking for any other values, I think just random players like Nuke Duck and Abadaj up top, they're going to be like my next highest projected players, and the price point probably indicates that. So I think that they're all fine. Looking for just kind of Nemesis for Fantic is somebody who stands out. So like the stacks that stand out the most for me right now is G2 and Nemesis. Probably try and combine them in unique ways the most. So Nemesis would probably be my second favorite play out of the mid lane options, then going down to Humanoid if you wanted to go for the upset and staying in that large range. I don't really think there's any other underdogs that I'm really trying to get to. Maybe Special if you really wanted to get the Special. Special grades out as an okay play for me. Let's get into your support options now. So we head into my support sides of things. So Milky X, similar things are going to be staying here. The same Milky X is going to be, and I'll blow this up a little bit. Milky X is going to be my highest overall ranked support player, and you're going to get that player coming from, once again, G2. So really good options here. So when this usually happens, it means that G2 is likely going to have ownership, but you can just differentiate your lineups. One way that I really like to when it comes to stacking is just playing 2 expensive AD carries. Most people won't do that. Most people won't find a way to fit them into your lineups. You get higher upside and usually lower ownership on it. So Milky X at $6,400. Yeah, the most expensive player by $600 in the slate, but also projected for me to have 3 more points than anybody else. And then if you take out the second highest projected player, which you can see who that is if you look at my projections over on Patreon, if you take out that second highest on projected player, now you're down 7 points above the field after that. So Milky X is somebody that I want to have a good piece of. Destiny stands out as a nice play from Origin as well. Probably one of my favorite Origin players, even though they're a huge favorite. I'm not liking a lot of their players' price points compared to G2, compared to Fantic. And then you go down the chain. I think some value plays down here would be Tor from XL. Now, Tor from XL is going to come in as a decent size underdog, maybe slight underdog, plus 180, plus 160 on some spots. But Tor is somebody who can pick up assists, somebody who that doesn't. Well, the way that I'm looking at this right now, Tor is somebody that can pick up assists from the spring split, at least. That's where we're trying to base all of this off of. Tor is somebody that's not going to pick up a lot of kills, but in victories will. So that's a really deep kind of reach type of a play. Like, I have projected 10 less points for Tor than Milky X, but if Tor was to win, it would be like a 4-point difference for obviously what comes in as a massive price difference of $2,400. If you're looking for similar plays to that in terms of a lot cheaper, and if they win, they'll have upside, probably Kaiser from Mad if they were to pull up the upset against Kaiser from Mad if they were to pull up the upset against G2. So Milky X tier of his own. Destiny and Heisling are fine options as well. I'm probably not going to get too much of Nukes a lot. Nukes a lot I don't even think is starting today. I think it's going to be Dreams that's starting, so I don't think I'm going to get too much of Dreams. Kaiser if you think there's an upset, and then Tor if you really want to take a risk, but I really don't think you have to on this slate. Heading into my 80 carries, the most important position on the slate if you're just looking for upside, I do want to try and play 2 80 carries. Like, that's what I'm trying to do in all my lineups. So that would be great. Well, maybe not every single one, but a lot of my lineups. And it's going to be hard for a lot of people to make lineups that way because you don't like what you have left over. You just don't think you have enough salary. But there's ways to do it. You just might have to take an underdog. You just might have to take a team that you're really not excited about playing. You might have to take 2 slight favorites. Or you might have to take a slight favorite and a slight underdog. Like, there's ways to get 2 80 carries in there, which gives you the most upside. MT Barnett comes in and says, Sal's the best. What's up, man? Yeah, man, I'm not going to be covering League of Legends all the time, so if you're watching this live or on the replay, League of Legends was really our thing for like 1 to 1.5 months, right, during the pandemic, and I like it. I like it a lot. I'm still playing it, but the prize pools are shrinking, and more sports are coming back. So I'm going to prioritize MMA, which tomorrow there'll be a stream for, golf for sure, which there's always going to be a Wednesday stream for, another Millie Maker in golf coming up. It's just kind of a schedule update, and then I'll have do the Awesome Show on Mondays, and I'll also post my video on Mondays for golf. So I'm going to really be taking on a lot more golf content. I want to do that anyways. PGA, NBA, and NFL are my favorite sports to watch and play DFS for. Probably NFL and PGA the most. So I'm going to transition into that. Probably starting in July, I'll really fade out of the esports realm. Maybe starting in August, we'll see what the prize pools are like. There's still some really good prize pools in a lot of esports. There's like 20K a day to CSGO, 10K at the very least. Right now, League of Legends is featuring 50K to 100K prize pool, so we're definitely going to continue to watch it and continue to play it. But once that starts to phase out, which I think probably happens when NBA comes back August 1st, we'll probably phase away from it. But for right now, every single day there's projections for CSGO. Call of Duty models and projections will be up for the slate that's today. 20K to first for that one. 100K to first for this contest right here for LEC. All the League of Legends stuff is back. Go ahead, sign up to Patreon. Not only do you get access to the League of Legends and the CSGO and all the esports, you get access to the golf projections and models and Closing Thoughts podcast, the MMA projection and rankings and all that stuff. Korean baseball I'm still doing. So get ahead, check out all that stuff if you want to support me over on Patreon. But at the very least, if you can support me for free here by hitting the like button on this live stream or the replay, and also smashing that subscribe button, it really does help go a long way. So getting into 80 carry now. My 80 carry projections are going to be pretty similar to the rest of this. And again, just try and find ways to make in the 80 carry. The cover boy in this one is Perks up top. Try and find a way to make your lineups have these G2 players in them, because they're going to be highly owned, but that's fine. Right now I have Perks projected for, as it stands, 6.5 more fantasy points than anybody else on the slate when it comes to the 80 carry position. I have him at 32.7, but I have some other players projected really nicely, especially some cheaper players that potentially are going to be an upset alert. So if you wanted to get Carzy on the opposite side of G2, if you think there's an upset there, Patrick for XL. XL I think is a sneaky underdog stack. Not going to have a ton of XL, but I think it's a nice spot to go to. And then if you're looking up top, Reckles. So Fantic and G2 seem like the best stacks today. Upset does project out decently for me, but probably not going to get, and yeah, Upset's a pretty nice play for me. I would probably rank it right now if I had to look at this. Perks, Upset, and Reckles is like top tier options, with Perks in his own tier. And then if you are going for underdogs, I think that the Mad underdog stack is unlikely to hit because I'm very high in G2, but I will be having some Mad stacks today. Mad lines, I do think, at least in a victory, a lot of their players are going to be extremely underowned, even though they probably score the most points on the slate if they were to win. This is League of Legends. So going over to jungler position now, and then we'll close it up with just the teams. So jungler, Jankos at top is going to be the most interesting. 8.2 assists per contest from the spring split if you were to look just right there. And then you had 5.3 kills per contest. So jungler, without a doubt, if you're looking at Jankos, it's like 80 carry numbers, or probably closer to mid lane numbers. Leads everybody on this slate in creep score per minute. Is up there in overall kill participation, which I'm going to color code this right now on stream real quickly. So I do think there's a lot of upside in this spot for Jankos and just G2 in general. Now, the problem with jungler is that Jankos is 7,800. He's more expensive than the majority of 80 carries, than the majority of mid lanes. So I really don't think I'm going to get to a lot of Jankos, because I would rather have Perks, and I would probably rather have, at that point, just other spots, probably rather have Caps. So I would rather have Caps and Perks, who are more expensive, hard to get into your lineups, just both of those guys combined. Like, Perks is $8,600. So you're probably not having Perks and Jankos in your lineup unless you're putting a very big underdog in your captain spot, like a support player from an underdog, which doesn't work out that well. Best of 1, 3, or 5. Oh, that's what you were asking for. I thought you were asking if this was Black Ops 1, 2, or 3. This is a best of 1 series, I believe. At least that's what I have this in my projections for, which my projections stem off of databases, which usually include that in there. So this is best of 1 series. Yeah. And they always have been, like, not even just because of playoffs, like even last year during the spring split, these were always best of 1. The ones that were best of 3 were the Liga, were the LPO and the LCK, the Korean leagues and the China league. So yeah, I think that Jankos is fine. Like, if you want to put, I really don't like putting junglers in my captain spot. Jankos might be an exception to that, but like right now, Jankos is going to come in with a very high projection, but it's still going to be like 5 points below what I have projected for his teammates in Caps, in Perks, and that's fine because he's cheaper, but it's not enough. Like, I don't think I'm going to get a lot of Jankos just because of the price point makes it difficult. I think I'll have a lot of self-made when it comes down to it. I think I'll have a lot of ZRX when it comes down to it. And then if you're looking for like some potential underdog upsets, same exact thing with Mad and XL and Kidrell and Shadow. So Jankos, I love the pick. If you get to Jankos, that's fine. Just build a lineup that works there. I think it's pretty good. The overall team slots here. So, are you doing MMA later, says Matt Woods. What's up, Matt Woods? I'm going to do an MMA live stream tomorrow. I just don't have the bandwidth this week to make an actual video for it. But I'll be live tomorrow, maybe around noon for MMA, taking questions, all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk all these sports that are finally back. The live streams allow me to just get it up quicker, because when I do the MMA videos, it takes me obviously the prep time for it, and then it also takes me just in general, the recording time takes like 25 minutes, the editing process takes like an hour to an hour and a half, the upload takes like an hour once you upload it, put everything in. So if I can just live stream tomorrow, it cuts out like 2 hours of the process, 2 hours that this week with golf coming back with a Millie Maker and me doing a lot of behind the scenes work for golf and prepping for Monday, the release of my NFL fantasy football draft guide. This week for me, I'm not going to post a dedicated upload for MMA, which I usually do on Thursday or Friday mornings. I'm just going to do a live stream tomorrow, so the same stuff will be covered. I'll kind of break down the slate. I'll mainly try and take questions for that hour time. And yeah, I have the projections up. I have the rankings and projections will be up later today. The model is up for MMA, and all of that stuff is there. Dan says, Sal, my man, watched your golf video and placed 16th in the first round only tournament. Nice, Dan. Yeah, man, I love golf. I'm a former turf science major, so I literally went to school to try and be working on golf courses for the rest of my life until I realized, man, I am overworked and underpaid even as an intern. And then I started asking questions, and I was like, man, you're coming out of college only making $25,000, working 80 to 100 hours a week on this golf course? I'm good. I'm going to go do something else. And I found this somehow. But anyways, the team slots right now, yeah. So the team slots, I'm going to have interest in a lot of these team spots. Team spots, you shouldn't prioritize too much. Like, don't put them in your stacks. Put them as one-offs. Put them in your mini stacks, whatever you want to do. Origin, G2 Sports, pretty much all the favorites. And then the underdogs, XL Sports, and likely Misfits Gaming and Mad Lions will be my underdogs. Fire truck coming through early trying to wake everybody in the neighborhood up. Excuse me on that one, but that's where I'm at right now. I think that G2 is by far the best stack. I think it'll be heavily owned, but I think there's ways to get around that. I do like Fantix as another stack. I think that Misfits on the opposite side of Fantix is a nice just upset type of a stack as well. And then maybe one that's going to go a little bit less under the radar. I don't really have much interest in 04 Esports, Shulk. I have some interest in Rogue, so maybe a little under the radar there. Origin, if anything, highly owned because they're going to be huge favorites and decent price points, but I prefer G2 much more, so I'd rather get more exposure to G2 and lower it on Origin. So very early stream here at like a 7 a.m. start. It's the only way I could have gotten this out. I do see that there's like 16 or 20 of you joining in, so thank you. Please do hit the like button and subscribe button. The schedule for me right now is going to be, and this will probably be the schedule for like the next month until August comes, when right now the preseason is potentially getting cut down to only 2 games, which I assume would push it back to start at the end of August instead of mid-August, which I don't love that, but it helps me with my schedule at least. So what I will say is that every Monday I'll have my golf video out. Every Wednesday we'll do a golf live stream. Every Saturday we'll do an MMA live stream up until August or so, right? Once NFL starts, then schedule's going to change. But that's the way that it is right now. If there's ever like a 6-figure League of Legends slate, I'll try and break it down like this one. But every single day I'm putting out the League of Legends projections, stack rankings, CSGO rankings, and projections. Call of Duty rankings are out. Projections will be up. So all that stuff, you can find it down below on Patreon, as well as just the extra content for golf and all that stuff as well over there. So all the tools that I use, all that stuff is down on Patreon. That's the schedule. Tomorrow there'll be an MMA live stream. And then on Sunday and Monday, we'll start to have some more of the next Millie Maker, next week's PGA Millie Maker out. So best of luck. Hopefully you all bink this slate. I'm going to be playing it. A 50K prize pool, a 100K prize pool, depending on the contest that you're playing in. Should be pretty fun. The League of Legends professional slates in Europe and the United States are back. So thank you, everybody. Please do hit the like button before you go and the subscribe button. And I will see you all in the next one.